Hi guys, it's me. Impeachment. It's currently the big story and big topic here in America right now. Ever since Tuesday when Speaker Pelosi announced they're gonna go into impeachment inquiry with President Trump. So, today I just want to remind you all what exactly impeachment is and how the process actually works. So here we go. So, when someone says the word impeachment in our government, everyone thinks that, oh, so impeach means they're out of office, right? No, not quite. Because this is what the word impeachment actually means. Impeachment is defined as a charge of misconduct made against the holder of a public office. So yeah, that's exactly what the word impeachment means. So let's see what the Constitution has to say about impeachment. So the question is, who has full power of impeachment? Well, Congress does. In Article 1, Section 2, Clause 5 of the Constitution, it says, "The House of Representatives shall choose their Speaker and other officers and have the sole power of impeachment." Yeah, Congress has full power of impeachment. So what are some requirements that can lead up to impeachment? Well, again, we go straight to the Constitution for that as well. Article 2, Section 4 of the Constitution says, "The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors." Treason, bribery, high crimes and misdemeanors. With those three, or one of those three, you could possibly be impeached if you're in a public office of some sort. So let's talk about what each one actually means. First off, treason. And once again, we go into the Constitution. Article 3, Section 3, Clause 1 of the Constitution says, "Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses to the same overt act, or on confession in open court." So yeah, that's treason. In fact, only 30 people in this entire country, like in history, have ever been accused of treason. So it's kind of a tough one to hit someone with impeachment. Next up, bribery. Here's the thing, bribery really isn't defined in the Constitution, so I actually had to look up this one for a official good usage and definition for the term bribery. Bribery is defined as the offering, giving, soliciting, or receiving of any item of value as a means of influencing the actions of an individual holding a public or legal duty. Basically, you have person A and person B. Person B gives person A money and tells them what to do in office, and person A actually does it. That's basically what bribery is. Last up, high crimes and misdemeanors. This is kind of where it gets a little tricky. Basically, high crimes and misdemeanors isn't really defined in the Constitution, just like bribery, but it just depends on what Congress wants it to be. So yeah, it's kind of like a gray area in terms of impeachment. So now that you know what impeachment is and all the things that you could possibly do to get impeached, let's find out how the actual impeachment process actually works. And oh boy, it's a doozy. So, this is how it's all gonna run down. It's gonna be pretty much a play-by-play. If you want to, take notes. If not, just listen, watch along. And since the impeachment thing is kind of based on the president nowadays, at least for right now, for Trump, we're gonna focus on the president aspect. Let's go! It all begins in the House of Representatives. Any member of the House can bring up a charge against the president. It then goes into the House Judiciary Committee, where the committee will hold hearings and they will ask questions to anyone that is associated with that person in or out of office. Eventually, when they hear enough what they need to hear, they'll start drafting up articles of impeachment, and then they'll eventually send them to a House for a vote. The House then votes on the articles of impeachment. However, they have the power to vote and abstain each article. So, if the House votes and agrees on at least one article of impeachment with a 2/3 majority vote, the president or whoever is impeached. The impeachment then goes over into the Senate, and this is where the fun and the trial begins. But before we do that, we need to talk about something in the Constitution. Article 1, Section 3, Clause 7 of the Constitution says, "The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present." So yeah, the Senate pretty much has the entire trial in the actual chamber. The senators themselves, they act as a jury. But when it comes to the president being tried, the Chief Justice, which is the most important and most powerful person in the judicial branch, he's pretty much the one that sits at the front desk, I should say. As of right now, the history in the United States, only 2 presidents have ever been impeached. The first president to be impeached was Andrew Johnson, our 17th president. In 1868, when he violated the Tenure of Office Act, and by which he replaced one of his cabinet members with another one without the Senate's approval. But the House impeached him, but he was acquitted by the Senate by 1 vote. See, votes matter, guys. The second was Bill Clinton, our 42nd president, in 1998. He was charged with perjury and having a sexual affair with his White House intern, Monica Lewinsky.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
And so the House impeached him, and then the Senate also acquitted him, and eventually he did pretty well for the end of his presidency. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what happens when the president is impeached and is removed from office? And the answer is, who knows? Yeah, the president has never actually been impeached and removed from office. So, I don't know, it's kind of up in the air right now with exactly what happens. I mean, there could also be a separate criminal trial depending on what the charge is, but you know, that would just depend on what the trial actually, like how it actually goes. There is one last thing we do need to talk about that is mentioned in the Constitution. It's very important and also deals with the president and impeachment. For that, we jump into Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1. The president shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. Yeah, and that's exactly what President Gerald Ford did to Nixon. You know, the Watergate scandal. He pardoned him, and everyone's like, "No, you don't do that. That's against the Constitution. You can't do that." As it says right there. So with that being said, the president that was impeached and removed from office, their vice president will become president, and then from there they would nominate a vice president, and then the Senate would then vote and confirm that person. In conclusion, the president is officially out of office. Unfortunately, I can't exactly tell you what will happen because it's never actually happened before. The best thing I can say is probably you will expect to see anarchy. Hope it all works out. Go America. This has been a Trevor Jones production.